This is the Dr. Berg Show. Live from the nation's capital, it's time to get healthy, lose weight, and feel great. Call now to speak with Dr. Berg at 866-561-4292. And now, Dr. Eric Berg.
Hey guys, we're back. Deja vu. It's Friday morning, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we have Adi.
Hey guys.
And so, we're probably already having calls come in or actually emails come in for questions, right? Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions this morning, which is awesome. We're going to be talking about keto, intermittent fasting. It seems to be the hot topic today. If you want to call in, the number is 866-561-4292. I'm just going to jump right in and go right to the first caller, Marilyn Thompson from Utah. Go ahead. You had a question, Marilyn.
Hi.
Hi.
So I have a lot of questions. So first, I have reactive hypoglycemia and diabetes insipidus, which I actually hadn't heard of until about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not fun. I have wanted to go on keto and intermittent fasting for a while, but it's really difficult for me because as soon as I skip even a snack, I get really bad panic attacks and anxiety, and it makes it really hard. I really only started getting anxiety and panic attacks after my second child about 2 years ago, and I'd never had them before. So I'm kind of looking to see what you would suggest for me trying to go into a keto plan, because that's what I've been told will help me with both of my problems.
Yeah.
And the intermittent fasting, but I don't know how to get started without dealing with panic attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not good. There's something about panic that people just don't like, that whole attack. So reactive hypoglycemia is basically you're having this low blood sugar situation after you eat. It just drops. And that's probably why you're like, you probably can't go long periods of time without eating. And diabetes insipidus, I haven't done any videos. I'm going to be doing one on that. It's a completely different type of diabetes where you have problems to a hormone that's produced from the pituitary called vasopressin. And there's different types. I don't want to kind of get into too much, but it's a situation where you have extreme thirst and then excessive urination. So the problem is your urine is so diluted that you can become dehydrated if you lose too much fluid. Are you really thirsty and peeing a lot?
Yes, I definitely can drink a ton at once, and I'm always thirsty.
Okay.
I actually can't drink my water unless I add lemon and salt to it, though, or else it just makes me sick.
Right, because this hormone that's supposed to be keeping the minerals with the fluid is not responding. So in the kidneys, it's just not responding. So a couple things that I would recommend. I would definitely get my electrolyte powder, and the reason for that is because it has a ton of great minerals in the right ratios with trace minerals, and then you just add a little more sea salt to that. And that way you put that in your water and you're drinking this really nice hydrating fluid that will help you, because the last thing you want to do is start depleting all your electrolytes, because you need the potassium and magnesium and the other electrolytes to help your insulin resistant problem, to help you go longer without eating. That's really going to be essential. So really the key with you is to do that. Make sure you have a lot of vegetables, because that's going to also help heal this blood sugar thing. And then beef up the fat, no pun intended. So you want to increase more fat with the meal so you can go longer, because that's really the key in the beginning, is that we want to prevent low blood sugar. Well, if you do too much protein, that will spike insulin. If you do too many carbs, it'll spike insulin. So you're going to have to do this in such a nice gradual level that your body can go longer and longer and longer with the satisfying food. So I would add more foods, more fat to that meal, and then just go longer, and then add the greens and the potassium. That's really the key to doing this correctly. And then you're going to find as you do that and your body adapts, it's going to help your condition, and everything's going to get better as you do this. But keto and intermittent fasting is the solution to your problem for sure. All right, thanks, Marilyn. Okay, so we're going to go right to Eugene from California. You had a question. Go ahead, Eugene.
Oh, hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
It's 4 weeks as it's 4 weeks as I am on keto program and I lost 20 pounds.
Good.
I eat once a day and don't eat on Monday at all.
Okay.
And I try to eat 7 cups of veggies. It's not happened all of the time. And after eating, I feel sleepy. And my problem is that I still don't have mental and physical energy, and very sensitive to supplements if I take them. So I try to escape taking them. If I take vitamins B, C, magnesium, potassium, white grass, adaptogens, and others, it makes my life much more complicated and difficult. I feel as if my brain is swollen. I'm unable to concentrate. I have more brain fogginess.
Got it.
And another problem is after eating or taking probiotics, I feel irritated, become much more sensitive to sounds. I suffer from sound sensitivity for many years.
Okay.
Start coughing. So what will be your advice about this problem?
Okay. So right now, because you're taking so many things, it's really hard to isolate it. I have some ideas, but the fact that you have sound sensitivities tells me there's a B vitamin deficiency, specifically B1, which, who knows, you could be reacting to that. Sometimes people have, I know this might sound weird, even an allergy to certain nutrients and even in nutritional yeast if you're taking that. So when you take it, you can actually build up your histamines and feel a little bit tired. So what I would do is I would do this. I would not take all your supplements together. I would spread it out for the whole week, take one supplement each day separately, just by itself, and see if you react, see if you get tired, to isolate which one is making you tired. That's number one, because it's probably not all of them. The second thing, you've only done this for 4 weeks, so you're probably still in the phase of adaptation mode. So if you're getting tired, especially after you eat, that means that you're just not fully adapted yet, especially if it's in the brain, if you feel mentally sluggish. So you want to combine keto and intermittent fasting, and just realize that when you know that when you fully adapt, your brain is going to wake up. But in the process of doing it, maybe in the beginning or in the transition, you're going to feel kind of like foggy, kind of tired, and that's just a reflection of you're not fully there yet. Give it more time. So those are some things that I would recommend right off the bat. Okay? Cool. Thanks, Eugene. All right, let's go to Adi. What kind of questions do we have coming into social media?
We have lots of questions in regards to keto and intermittent fasting. But first, there are a lot of countries, and they want to say hi to you. So we have Wales, Spain, Malaysia, UK, France, India, Pakistan, and then in the US, we have North Carolina, Washington, Idaho, New York, Tampa, and California.
Wow, that's awesome.
And much more.
That's cool.
All right, so the first question goes to Dania, and she's actually from Chile, and she's asking, so she's been on keto and intermittent fasting for 1 month, and now she's been diagnosed with anemia. What can she do? And she's a vegetarian. Okay.
Yeah, this is the problem to get your iron, especially the type of iron that is builds up the blood, because it's really, really hard if you're vegan. That's what you're running into. You're probably just anemic because you're either B12 deficient or iron deficient. So I'm going to recommend you're going to have to get some high quality iron supplement and probably a B12. That's what I'm going to recommend.
Okay.
Because unless you're willing to do at least maybe eggs or organ meats, which you're probably not, it's not going to happen. So, but yeah, you are anemic because it's really hard to get the B12 and the type of iron you need if you're a vegan. So, I'm going to have to take them as a supplement. Okay, so is that sufficient?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
And give me another question before we go into the calls.
Alrighty. So we have John on YouTube, and he wants to know, is it possible to be in ketosis and also be insulin resistant?
Well, yeah, you're going to be insulin resistant. Well, most people are insulin resistant, and when you get onto ketosis, you're going to be insulin resistant for a while until you fix that. But keto and intermittent fasting is the thing that's going to fix insulin resistance. Over time, it's going to get better and better and better, because think about what insulin resistance is. It's a situation where your body is blocking insulin. It considers it toxic. Why? Because it's too high. Why is it too high? Because you're eating the foods that you shouldn't be eating, or the carbs and the frequent meals that's creating the condition. So removing those triggers instantly drops the stress on insulin, and that condition doesn't even need to be there anymore. So it's going to get better with time.
Okay.
Okay? And also, anything that I say in this hour is not meant to diagnose you. It's not meant to replace your medical treatments. So it's just meant to educate you and give you things to do research on. Check with your doctor before taking any of my advice. Okay? All right. So also, tune in. If you actually go to tunein.com, you can find us. It's online. It's an online app you can get, and check this show out. And also, for those of you that have not downloaded the Essential Sheet, there's a link down below. You can download it. It basically explains all the nutrients and the foods that fit those nutrients in the right amounts to get your required nutrients. So if you want that document, click down below and check it out. Okay? All right, so now with that, we're going to go right to Raj from North Carolina. You had a question. Go ahead, Raj.
Well, thank you for taking my call, Dr. Berg.
Sure.
I have for months now, I have a concern about heart rate being too high when I make a slight move. So I've been taking the lisinopril STCZ, which is a beta blocker to lower the heart rate. But then the blood pressure goes really low, and for months now, I also had hypothermia. So I talked to my doctor about it, and he ordered the complete blood panel test, metabolic test, and everything came out normal. Even my A1C is now 5.6, which is thanks to intermittent fasting. And the diet that I eat, in most cases I'm vegetarian, I eat soya, and soya just works perfect for me. I eat edamame and tofu. And so, but there was a low platelet count, and he also ordered something called PTT, which is 24.2 seconds. And the lower range is between 21.6 and 30.1, so it's somewhere in between, so that's normal. But what the other PT value is, and he says I'm not taking Coumadin or warfarin, the PT value is 9.8 seconds, and those should be between 19.8 and 29.7. So, and the new, I think, measurement is INR, which is 0.99, which should be between 2.1. So how do I interpret this regarding my sepsis systems? And I also ordered something called organic acid test, which is covered by Medicare, by the way, and it shows my D4-2, an orange agent, is very high.
So Raj, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut you off there for a second. I want to make these questions have to be really quick because we have a lot of callers on the line. To evaluate your entire profile would take a little more time, but I'm just going to give you some tips because right off the bat, you gave me some huge clues that it sounds like you're really B deficient, and I'm talking about like folate and B12 and B1, because those vitamins can actually bring the pulse rate down and also support the platelet counts. I would make sure you're consuming maybe a good amount of nutritional yeast. Make sure your basic foods are in with the cruciferous. That will also give you some of those nutrients, especially folate. But yeah, like zinc, B12, folate, and B1. Those are the ones that I think that you need more help with. And also, to lower the pulse rate, the other thing that I would do is make sure you go up with the potassium. So you may need an electrolyte powder unless you're consuming 7 to 10 cups of vegetables, which I don't know if you are, but if you're not, then maybe you want to enhance that with electrolyte powder to get the potassium up. That'll automatically bring the pulse rate right down. Now, you might say, well, I had my blood test and my potassium is normal. Yeah, but 99% of all the potassium is inside the cell. They're checking the blood. They're not going to find it unless they do an intracellular potassium test, which they're not going to do. So you might want to try that, Raj, and then let's see how it goes. All right? Thanks. Hey, Megan, you're from Georgia. You've been on the line for 47 minutes. Go ahead. You're on. I'm going to take your call.
Okay. Thank you for taking my call. So basically, I'm a 37-year-old mom of 3, still nursing, history of gestational diabetes, and so I started keto in the beginning of the year, and my A1C came down from a 6.4 to a 5.9 in 2 months, which I know it's going to be lower now. But I've also been on thyroid medication, and so my last lab showed my TSH, which was the only thing they tested, was 3.87. But I was feeling the symptoms of hyperthyroid, kind of just the heart rate increased and increasing and such. So I felt like I needed to step back on the medication. So I've actually been taking half of a pill. Haven't had labs done again, but my blood sugar has been coming down even more. I don't know if that's related, but I have been having headaches. So I'm wondering what your suggestions are as my body. I feel like the intermittent fasting and the keto is helping my body to heal and my thyroid to heal, but in the meantime, kind of helping my body adjust and dealing with these headaches.
Yeah, so now, are the headaches something new?
Yes, like right as I started cutting the thyroid dose in half, I started getting them. But now I'm not having the other symptoms of too much thyroid.
Right. So are you taking Synthroid? Is that the medication?
No, it was Nature Throid, but I actually had to switch to Armor.
I like that better.
Yeah.
I like that better. Yeah, I think what's happening to you is your body's making the adjustments as you're getting to this root issue. Your body, the need for medication is going down, obviously. I mean, everything's getting better. So it's just a matter of really adjusting that as your doctor's kind of weaning you off that slowly over time. But the fact that you had gestational diabetes tells me that your hormones were off when you were pregnant, and now they're like probably recovering to some degree. But also when you're pregnant, you do get a high level of estrogen, which then inhibits the thyroid function. So what I would do, I would increase the cruciferous vegetables with some sea kelp, those 2 things. You might already be doing that.
Okay.
And then also, is your blood sugar really, really low? Like too low?
No, it's just now where I'm getting right below 100 fasting. So like in the 90s fasting.
I think you just need to do those things, ride the wave, because I think you're on the way to getting your body in a good place. So it's going to just take a little more time. But make sure the basics are in, because when you do this, you want to have all the facts and you want to do it correctly, because especially if you're on medication, you're adjusting, there's a lot of things going on. So, and the fact that you had diabetes, you probably want to enhance with certain nutrients to support that. Okay, Megan?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks for calling. Okay, cool. So, what do we have on social media? What questions are coming up?
Okay, so I have Tony on YouTube, and he's asking, is OMAD recommended for adrenal body types? OMAD, it means 1 meal per day. For adrenal types, absolutely. See, the intermittent fasting is actually good for adrenal types because it actually takes the stress off the body. You know, I saw this show. Keto is really coming up in the news, and there's been some attacks on keto, like by certain dietitians. I won't mention any names, but they're like say, oh yeah, keto is harmful for the kidney. Keto is dangerous long term. Keto is toxic. I'm like, no, it's not. Ketones, people are associating that with ketoacidosis, which is completely apples and oranges. Because they use the word keto, just because it's similar doesn't make it's the same thing. Okay.
So ketones actually are really good for, they're cardioprotective, they're neuroprotective, they help reduce oxidative stress. Glucose is the problem. They're recommending all these grains and sugars. So no, it's not going to be a problem. And I think that the truth is that it's really healthy, and people are going to find that out when they try it out.
Okay.
Did I answer your question? I think I went sidetrack. What was your question?
My question was, can somebody that is adrenal body type, can they do OMAD?
Wow. I just went off the sidetrack.
It's okay.
Yeah, they can totally do that, and I suggest that they do that. That's going to help your adrenals.
Okay.
Good. All right, what other questions do we have?
All right, so I have Wes on YouTube, and he's asking, how can he gain weight or muscle on keto?
Well, you probably can maintain the weight. It's hard to gain weight on keto,
Okay.
but if you're underweight, what you need to do is you definitely need to increase your fat. Increase your fat, because, and here's just the tip. I'm going to give you a tip.
Okay.
You got two people. You have two categories. You have people that want to lose weight, and people want to kind of maintain or maybe gain some weight.
Yeah.
You don't want to increase the carbs. You don't want to increase the protein. So you're left with the fat. Now, if you want to lose weight, and this is interesting, with the help of Leanna, which basically is our chef that really helped us. She's helping us do our app, and I really appreciate that, because she's going back and forth with the programmer to really figure this out. And as she's doing this, she's having some huge realizations, because she's doing all the macros, and that the fat that you're consuming could be a little too high, because we calculated a 1 meal a day, you would need about 89 grams or 90 grams of fat, right?
Yeah.
Well, just your salad dressing alone could account for 25% of all your fat.
Wow.
If you're doing coffee and adding cream, and you have a couple, coffees a day, that could add to 50% of your fat. So right there, you could be overdoing it. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It just means that your body's going to go after the fat that you're eating, not your own fat. So don't worry, we have this app coming out that's going to help you sort that out. But the point is that if you want to maintain your fat, your weight, just go up with the fats a little bit, and then you won't lose any more.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So hey, I got a question that you can ask, that you can see if people can actually get this correct. The first question of the hour is, what is the absolute best vitamin on the planet Earth, in the universe, for a fatty liver?
Okay.
Okay. What do you think? If you have a fatty liver,
Okay.
or should I say, if you have belly fat,
Okay.
same thing. What is the absolute best vitamin on this in the universe, not just on this planet? Okay?
Okay.
That will help you dissolve the fat on the liver like that within a couple months. All right, good. So as you're answering that question,
Okay.
I'm going to go on to the next question over here.
Okay.
We're going to go to Sarah, who's in Tennessee. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hi, Dr. Berg. Thank you
Hi.
for taking my call. I'll try to make this as quick as I can. I'd like to give you just a tiny little background. I've been trying to lose weight for probably about 3 years or so. I've tried every diet known to man. Finally found a doctor, kind of like a natural doctor, where she took some hormonal tests and found out that I was severely deficient in vitamin D. My insulin was like 4 times higher than normal, and then I had low progesterone, different things like that. So she actually suggested I started fasting, and I had ordered Dr. Jason Fung's fasting book and read that, and found in there that the 36-hour fast was the best way to go to lose weight. So me and my 20-year-old daughter started doing that, because she kind of had similar problems as me. And I did low carb. And then I came across you and started listening to your videos, ordered your book. So I started doing the keto after that and kept the 36-hour fast. And what I do is Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays or Saturdays, I do 36-hour to 42-hour fast, and then just eat like 2 meals on the days that I do eat, no snacking, and do it keto. My question is that safe to do? Should I just do like the 24-hour fast? We're still trying to lose the weight, so we're kind of a little leery of just jumping right into the 1 day a week or 1 meal a day, just simply because we don't want to gain our weight back, the little weight that we have lost, since it's been so hard for us.
Good question. I have a question for you first. How are you feeling on this?
Okay. I feel fine. I've gotten used to it. There's sometimes it hits me where I feel like I'm starving to death, and then others I could go, a long time. I did order your electrolyte powder. Felt like since I wasn't eating anything on the days that I was fasting, I was obviously not getting any nutrients. So I did that We do probiotics. And then on the days that I do eat, we definitely try to get that 7 to 10 cups of vegetables in there. But I feel fine. I don't want to do it forever. It's not something I want to have to do for the rest of my life just to maintain or lose the weight. So I just didn't know what I should do.
I'm going to give you some advice, okay? You ready for this?
Thanks.
Okay. So here's what you do. I kind of have a little different approach. I like to go in more gradually into this because, I mean, you were vitamin D deficient, which you could be deficient in other vitamins. You had insulin problems, so we know there's nutritional deficiencies. So you jump right into a big fast with those deficiencies, not eating, and now deficiencies on top of that, you know, it's not the best thing. So my whole thing is get healthy first, then lose weight. So do this, start going for the nutrients first, right? So we start 3 meals, no snacks, and then down to 2 meals, no snacks. It's easy to do that because then you let your body adapt as you're getting all these nutrients. You're doing keto, you're healing the body, right? Instead of trying to just go for the weight loss, because then you end up passing out and, like some people, and hitting your head on something that's not good. So we build up your body and we gradually put you into keto adaptation where you're burning fat. And then you eventually go to 1 meal a day. That seems to be, for some serious weight loss, I mean, it's really good for most people, 1 meal a day. And at that point, it's consistent. You have your schedule worked out. It's easy. You're not hungry. You're providing all your nutrients. You worked up to it, and you're doing great. But what's interesting about vitamin D is that vitamin D and insulin resistance goes hand in hand. So if you increase more vitamin D, more sun, or just as a supplement, your insulin resistance will get so much better. But when you have insulin resistance, you can't absorb as much vitamin D. So the vitamin D is a big clue. But the fact that you had high insulin tells me that you're doing the right thing, stick with it, focus on the health, almost put the weight loss over here because that will come as you get healthy. And then long term, as your metabolism is better and you're healed, it's going to be so much easier to lose weight. And if you wanted to go off the program, you have that flexibility because you have this health reserve built up versus just trying to lose weight and then go back to your old habits, gain it back. Okay? But thanks for the question. That was good. All right. So what do we have as answers, Adi?
All right. So we have lots of answers. I have vitamin B12, milk thistle, potassium, B3, vitamin B, choline, vitamin C, niacin, vitamin D, vitamin A.
Okay. So what did you think it was? What was your guess?
Milk thistle?
Go ahead. Another guess?
Another guess?
Okay, so drum roll, please. And the answer is choline.
Choline. Oh,
choline.
Nice.
It's categorized in the B vitamins, but choline is interesting. I'm not going to tell you what brand to get or the dosage. You're just going to have to research that. But choline for a fatty liver is awesome because it works together with bile salts to help break down fat, and also it prevents a fatty liver. So let's say, for example, you have a fatty liver and you're like trying to get this fat off the liver to increase your capacity so your liver can work, so you don't end up with a keto rash or inability to detoxify. You start including that on top of everything else, and you're going to speed up the process of this fat coming out. But
Wow.
that doesn't substitute not eating healthy or 7 to 10 cups of vegetables. Now, here's the next question. This is just between you and me and the 4 walls.
Okay.
What foods are high in choline?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Why are you putting me on the spot?
Exactly, because you were going to say that. I know you're going to say egg yolks. Yeah, that's
Yes,
correct.
Yeah.
Egg yolks
what I
and
said.
actually organ meats. Now, you're going
Organ
like, wait a second. That's fat. Doesn't that cause a fatty liver? No. It's the carbs and the alcohol that cause the fatty liver. It's not the fat. And that's what's really interesting is that I'm not suggesting start eating like just egg yolks only and organ meats, but the point is that choline is naturally in there, and that will help protect you against a fatty liver.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep your carbs down, you can handle the increased fats. But you can take it as a supplement, take it as a powder, take it every day, and end up with a nice, clean, happy liver. Okay?
Good to know.
All right. So now, let's go on to Tiffany. You had a question. You're from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Berg.
Good morning.
I just found out about your program, and I'm excited to start getting healthy, but I'm going on a vacation in about 6 weeks, and I'm wondering if I should wait to start the keto because that's probably about when I would begin. And also, when I begin, would it be beneficial to do a fast at the beginning?
Got it. Where are you going to go?
I'm going on a Disney cruise to the Bahamas.
Oh, wow. So it's this is a kind of a ship, right?
Yes. So
And I'm sure they
you'll
won't probably have
it's
anything.
buffet.
They probably won't have any desserts on there or alcoholic beverages. Probably just like a lot of organic
Just for me.
vegetables. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
Yeah.
and are you going for what, like a week or so?
I think it's a 5-night, so it is about a week. So I know that'll really, I know if I'm in keto, that'll stop my ketosis. So
Okay, got it. So here's what I'm going to recommend. Start immediately, like this afternoon. That way you can have some time going into this, and you can get your body primed, and then you're going to go on this trip, have fun, you're going to get sun, probably go off the program. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you'll do kind of like, you're going to feel so good going into this that you'll have some momentum, that you may want to just not go off like completely the deep end. But I think the sun, the change of environment, the reduction of stress is going to be probably healing. But I would start now. That's why I tell people like it's November and time of the year, and all of a sudden they go, well, I don't want to start until January 1st. I'm like, what? You have like a month and a half. So basically I said, start now. Okay, go off when you go on vacation, if there's a holiday. Get right back on the wagon. That way you have so much momentum going in, and no, you don't necessarily have to start with a hardcore fast, but do the combination of keto, intermittent fasting. In my videos, I show you how to do this, like 3 meals a day, no snacks, 2 meals a day, and do that gradually with keto at the same time, and you'll feel good, you'll lose weight, your body will adjust, it'll get healthy. That's the best way to do it. But yeah, I would start now, and definitely, you're going to go off, that's fine, but at least you have momentum going into this. That's going to be really good, because the good thing is if you start now, you're going to weigh less going into, so I'm sure you're going to be like in a bathing suit, so that's going to help you. All right, Tiffany? Thanks for calling. All right, Adi, what do we have on social media?
All right, so I have Nikki on Facebook from Ohio, and she is asking, so she has pain under her right side for several years and has been doing keto for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And her ultrasound says, her gallbladder, liver, and kidneys are fine. What other tests can she do? Because it really hurts and she doesn't know why.
Well, I think it's going to be more of a functional test. They're looking for stones. It's probably not stones. It's just like an inability for the production of gallbladder bile to be produced. So what I would do is you can get a functional bile test or a digestive functional test where it measures the output of bile and the transition. But sometimes it's really hard because you got several things going on. You have the stomach acids, which they never test. You got the bile output, which they never test, and the friendly microbes, which we're not going to test. So I would, to increase your ability to digest fat, I would simply, instead of doing another test, just add something like apple cider vinegar, betaine hydrochloride, maybe some bile salts after the meal, and then choline. All those in combination will decrease the pain on the right side, but make sure you're doing intermittent fasting, because that's like going to help you too lessen the trauma of eating constantly to create that full side on the right side. If you join my membership site, I actually walk you through all sorts of techniques to do manual therapy and acupressure on the digestive organs to help that as well, because I had a fullness and a tightness underneath my right side for 12 years. I didn't know what it was, and that's what forced me to come up with really good techniques to help myself, which I don't have that anymore. And also, lastly, Adi, if you're doing a lot of nuts, that could be the culprit right there. So cut down on the nuts, and that could be a lot less stressful on your right underneath your right rib cage. Okay?
Good.
All right. So a couple things, guys. If you haven't downloaded that really cool Essentials, Keto Essentials, do it now. There's a lot of great data on there. And then secondly, we're in tunein.com. You can check that out. You can listen to it. And also, we are at Anchor app. So you can download that and check out the different podcasts. And I want to make a note. I just did a video on EMF. I think I released it this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people want to know, like, what is EMF? Electromagnetic frequencies, okay? And this cell phone thing right here gives off these type of energy which can interfere with your DNA and your brain, kind of putting your head into a microwave. So if you're touching your head right here, you're basically putting your head into the microwave and destroying brain cells.
Wow.
And your IQ will go down. Also, it can fry the brain and create tumors, right? And cancer. But other than that, it's totally safe, okay? But if you actually look at some of the studies that are out there that say it's safe, they're not independent studies, okay? So look at the independent studies that are non-biased. But the point is, if I talk on the phone, I can feel it big time. So if you're going to talk, just use the speaker or keep it out here, or get something like this, which is 99% free of these EMFs. And this is called air tube headsets, okay? Just like normal headsets right here. But they don't have that wire that goes right in here. It's all hollow. So that way you don't have this EMF going directly right into your brain, frying your brain, and you'll feel a lot better with these. So you can buy these online. But if you want to get one where you can talk on the phone, make sure you get one that has a little speaker right here, because this one doesn't. This is just for music. So I just wanted to point that out.
Nice.
EMFs, not exciting, but they're out there. Damage control. So you just need to, don't recharge your cell phone right by your head, your nightstand right there. Keep that away from your body. All right, Dottie?
Okay.
Okay. So do we have some cool questions, some real interesting ones?
I do. So I have Jessica on Facebook, and she has a daughter who is 13 years old and adrenal body type. Mm-hmm. She's very emotional, stressed, and easily tired. She wants to know what is your advice on that? And wait, she's been doing keto for a month and she lost 10 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how old is she again?
13.
Well, that's normal for a 13-year-old. It's called puberty. No, I was kidding. Yeah, there's some things that you want to realize that she's going through, probably this transition. But I'm telling you, for kids, I'm very interested in this topic, because if you get their blood sugar straightened out and you get them on keto, they're going to be so much nicer to you. They're going to be really chilled out, happy, better learning abilities, less ADD, more patience. Mm-hmm. And this blood sugar thing is like, so I would start substituting, I would start enhancing the diet with the B vitamins, like nutritional yeast or nutritional yeast tablets for sure. That's like number one.
Okay.
Make sure that you add the keto bombs for the kids at the meal, so they have more fat, so they can go longer without eating, and let the body adapt. But it's really, the hard part with kids is getting the potassium in there with the quantities of vegetables. That is the trick. I mean, I have a hard time getting adults to eat vegetables. I know it's hard to believe. Some adults don't even like vegetables. I know. Isn't that weird?
It is.
Especially 10 cups. So you might want to enhance the diet with electrolytes, wheatgrass juice powder, but they're going to have to somehow get these vegetables one way or the other. Either we can use a syringe, or have them someone chew it for them.
Oh, God.
I don't know, but it's going to be a situation.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go right to Noel from New York. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, great, thanks.
Good. I want to say thank you for the information you give out, and I know you're authentic, because like the other doctors or people who beat around the bush and you have to watch a video for 5 hours and 2 minutes to give you the information.
I just
you
hate
go right
that.
into
I
it.
hate that with a passion. Like get right to the topic. Yeah, I agree.
I appreciate that. So my question is this: with the keto diet, I'm aware of the essential form. Now I wanted to know, would it go against the keto diet if you eat like purple yams or sweet potato? Is that gonna make your sugar go up where it defeats the purpose?
Good question. How old are you?
I am 39.
Okay. Yeah, like paleo is keto with the yams, the sweet potato, and fruit. So here's the thing. Here's my viewpoint on that. It's going to be really hard to get into ketosis with the yams or the potatoes or even the fruit because it's just too high in carb. If you want to calculate and measure how many carbs you're getting and keep it below 30, you might be able to get into ketosis. But if you're 39 years old, like myself, I'm around 39, what happens is like your metabolism is going to be not quite as fast as when you're 18, and you might not be able to get away with it. So I would say no, not consume the sweet potato, the yam, any type of potatoes from Peru, which basically are, purple and orange and yellow. Even though they have phytonutrients, it's just too starchy. So I would avoid that. And but you can have some berries, but you got to keep your carbs a little bit lower. Thanks for your question. Okay, so Adi.
Yes.
We have question number 2.
Okay.
This is a true or false question.
Oh.
Okay, is it true or false? Lactic acid is the thing that makes you sore after you exercise.
Okay.
What do you think, guys? Give me a response, and then Adi, give me another question over there. But this time, make it a good one.
They're all good.
No, I'm just kidding.
So I have Piper on YouTube, and she is hypoglycemia and a vegan. And can she do intermittent fasting?
Well, Piper, this is exactly what is going to help you with your hypoglycemia. Because think about it, your blood sugars are too low, right? Well, what causes blood sugars to go low is higher amounts of insulin because the carbs are too high. So when you eat, every time you eat, it triggers insulin. So if you eat less, you have less insulin spike, better blood sugars. And this is kind of weird because people, they feel better when they eat, so they think, oh, I need carbs. No, no, no. You have a blood sugar problem, so you're just satisfying that. And people do fine as soon as they eat and they spike insulin, then they end up with low blood sugars the more times they eat. So if you do this correctly, like I recommend in my videos, so go to drberg.com under education. There's a little tab that says how to do keto. It's a free little mini course. Click that, and I show you how to combine it and do it correctly. So if you do this on a gradual scale, eat less, you're going to be less hungry. But as soon as you eat, for whatever reason, now all of a sudden you're going to be hungry. So it's kind of a trap. The more you eat, the more hungry you are. The less you eat, the less times you eat, and if you do this correctly, you'll actually stabilize your blood sugars. Like, I tested this out so many times. Like, I wasn't even hungry. And I figured, I'm just going to eat just for that because I'm bored. I want to eat some food. Hour later, now I'm starving. Crazy. Okay? So, all right. So what do we have as our answer to the question, true or false, lactic acid question?
Okay, so a lot of people are saying true.
Okay. What do you think?
Can you give me a hint?
True. No,
true.
No.
True.
No, actually it's false.
It's
I'm
false.
just kidding. The answer is false. It's not the lactic acid that's doing this. Lactic acid clears out of your system within 30 and 60 minutes after a workout.
Wow.
It's not the lactic acid. It's the micro trauma that is destroying your muscles after a workout, which usually happens the next day or 2 days later. All of a sudden you're sore. It's micro trauma. The muscles have contractile tissue in little membranes, and those get tore. So you're actually tearing your muscles at a micro level, creating inflammation. And that's really what the soreness is. So this is the big mistake, Adi. If you have soreness and then you start stretching hardcore with a lot of intensity, you're re-traumatizing. Now you're going to develop scar tissue. And not just the muscle and the tendon. The muscle, now you get scar tissue. Now you got stiffness. Now you wake up feeling stiff. So after a workout, don't do massive stretching until it's fully healed. You can do passive, very light, low intensity stretching, okay? But not hardcore because you realize you got inflammation, you're going to traumatize it. Okay, you making mental note?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. All right, do you have another question?
I do. Limo on YouTube is asking, what's the solution for being tired and sleepy all the time on keto?
Okay, so you just need to take a nap. Yeah, take a nap and that'll satisfy your sleepiness. Well, when you do keto, you have to do intermittent fasting at the same time, or else it's going to take a long time to adapt. So that could be one thing you're missing. The other thing is, like, what are you eating? There's something that's not right. To get into keto, you need not just low carb, you need moderate protein, more fat, and you need the potassium from the vegetables. That's going to heal the insulin resistance to the point where you're burning fat. When you're tired, it just means that you haven't fully adapted yet. You probably also need the B vitamins, specifically B5. You can get them from nutritional yeast or get them in the tablets, but the B vitamins with a little B5 will go a long way with fatigue. So keto fatigue is really a B vitamin deficiency if you're doing everything correctly. I have a video on that. You can watch that. Okay, so now we're going to go right to Becky from Florida. You had a question. Go ahead, Becky.
Hi. First of all, I want to thank you for everything that you do for all of us.
Oh, you're welcome.
My question has to do with intermittent fasting and Bulletproof Coffee. I know you've been hit up with this quite often according to your videos. Mm-hmm. But I've been taking my blood sugar when I wake up in the morning, mm-hmm. and then I do a Bulletproof Coffee, and then I take my blood sugar again. So my question would be, do we know how many points, for example, would mean that I am absolutely breaking the fast with the Bulletproof Coffee or not breaking the fast? And by the way, I'm only 12 days in, loving this program, lost 9.5 pounds the first week, and I'm sitting here right now on Eastern time and still not even hungry for my first meal.
That is fantastic, Becky. Hey, Becky, how old are you?
I am 57.
Okay. Okay, so, and then are you using the MCT oil with your coffee?
I am not. I'm using coconut oil and butter.
Okay. All right, so this is a really good question. And then the other question I have for you is, how high do your blood sugars go? Like, how many points is it going up? Go from what to what?
It ranges anywhere from 5 to 7 or 8. For example, today my blood sugar was 96, and it went to 103. Yesterday it was 98. It went to 110, so on and so forth. Just so you know, my blood sugar was 143 Monday a week ago when I started this, and I'm in the anywhere from mid to high 90s now.
This is
fantastic. And I am doing at least 7 cups of vegetables a day.
You're doing great, Becky. You're awesome. This is awesome. So let me give you a couple of tips on this. Obviously, it's working. And some people having just a slight bit of fat in the morning with their coffee and the blood sugar's going up, the ketones might be going down a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. You're still in ketosis, maybe not 100%. So you may want to get some ketone strips, maybe not, but that will really tell you. But here's the thing. It's working. Everything's going good. You're losing weight. Ride the wave. Now, you may get to a point where you plateau. And that's where we probably want to take out the coconut oil. If you plateau and you want to, because even though it increases blood sugars a little bit, if you cut that out, you will speed up the ability to burn fat, and it will help you lose weight a little faster if that's really your main goal. So, because here's the thing: anytime you add fat, your body's going to burn that as your ketones as well, and maybe not your own fat to that degree. But if you're losing weight now and everything is cool and you're happy with it, ride the wave, keep doing it. It seems like it's working. It sounds like your metabolism is right on track. So, but I would only change that if you need to change it. But I think you're doing great. Thanks, Becky. All right, so now let's go to, it's Moralia from Los Angeles. I probably chopped your name to shreds, but go ahead.
Good morning, Doc. You pronounced it rightly.
Okay,
Thank you.
Good.
I just wanted to ask you 3 questions. I don't know if I have the time for it. Number 1, when would I know to stop my diabetic medication? Number 2, I love kamut actually. I've stopped eating kamut. In fact, I've stopped eating all grains now for the past 1 month. And number 3, when is an ideal time to take MCT oil?
Okay, good. So you can stop your medications in approximately 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks from now. No, I'm not going to tell you to stop your medication. I can't really tell you that legally. So you're going to have to check with your doctor on that. And it really goes, it basically has to do with, as your blood sugars get normal, the need for medication goes down. If you actually get to a point where your blood sugars end up going lower, then you definitely are taking too much medication. So just get with your doctor, find a good doctor that will allow you to eventually come off, because eventually the need for it is not going to be there. So why would you take medications if you don't need it? Okay, that's my viewpoint on that. I'm glad that you're not consuming the grains anymore. You don't really need the grains. It's going to slow you down. It sounds like you cut them out, so just avoid grains. I would not consume grains. Okay, and then the last question is when to take MCT oil. Well, the MCT oil is a type of fat that does help you make more ketones. So some people like it, some people don't. Some people don't need it. Some people, it slows their weight loss down. I'm not crazy about it. Put in your coffee if you need it. So if you have a good metabolism, go ahead and take it. But I'm not crazy about it as something that you really, really need to take. But it's a type of fat that's a healthy fat that will, if you wanted to add that to like a shake, for example, with a meal, and as your fat, go for it. I have no problem with that. But here's the thing. If you're doing all the vegetables and you're doing a moderate amount of protein and you keep your carbs low and you don't consume enough fat, the first time that you break the fast, the first meal, make sure that all those macros that I just told you about are really high quality, and because that's the point where you get the most absorption of these nutrients. So the best time to consume your nutrients, if you want to consider MCT a nutrient, I don't really consider it a nutrient, is the first meal of the day, because those cells are so ready to absorb. Other than that, MCT oil is probably best to take in the morning. And yeah, so that's my opinion. Thank you very much for your questions. Now we're going to go to Adi.
Yes, so before I ask this next question,
Yeah.
do they take the MCT oil like during fast or after they break their fast?
It's going to break your fast a little bit.
Okay.
So I would recommend adding it to the meal and not on an empty stomach, because it's more calories, it's a fat. So anything that has that, even though it is a fat and it has the minimal amount of spike of insulin, I would prefer you take it with a meal.
Okay. All right, so next question is Wafi on Facebook. And he has no gallbladder, has fatty liver, and trying to lose weight. Nothing is helping him right now. What is the best diet recommendation for his situation?
Okay, no gallbladder.
Fatty liver.
And he has a fatty liver.
And wants to lose weight.
Wants to lose weight.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a tough one. Keto, intermittent fasting, maybe you should try that. Okay. Yeah, that is the thing you need, because that'll take the pressure off your liver and your gallbladder. And then intermittent fasting, see, here's the thing. Because you don't have a gallbladder, you're going to always have less bile output, because you don't have it's just going to trickle down. Okay, so then you also don't have the concentrated bile. So now you're going to be a little deficient in ability to absorb those fats. So naturally, intermittent fasting is going to be the thing that's going to be the best thing for you, so you're not adding more stress. I would add purified bile salts or the gallbladder formula after a meal, one of those after a meal, because then you'll increase your absorption of the fat-soluble vitamins, so you don't end up with problems with the eyes, the skin, and other body issues. So intermittent fasting, in the basics, just like anyone else that I'm talking to, you need to plug those in and do that to support your problem big time, and I think that'll solve it. But you're going to have to add some purified bile salts. There's no special diet other than that, because it's the basics. Okay? And also, just so you guys know, last week I released a new course. It's a keto coaching training course. It's awesome. We have a whole bunch of people that are doing it now, that are signing up, getting the training. And it's the least expensive course out there ever. I wanted to make it very affordable. But you can go to my site, check it out. It's under keto at the bottom. It's a training course, so you can actually be a coach and learn the basics and learn how to do it correctly and help a lot of people. And this is for those people who like to help. If you like to help, definitely need to do the course, because you're going to get some serious results. And it's a lot of fun to get these results. So check it out if you're interested. Okay? So now we're going to go to Carla from Texas. You had a question. Go ahead, Carla.
Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being time.
Sure.
My question was, how can I prevent hair loss? Because I know the amount of protein has to be limited on this diet and lose skin as well. I'm 19, by the way.
Okay. Did you start the diet and you're losing some hair?
Yeah, I actually have. I'm already 2 weeks in the diet, and I've lost a little over 10 pounds. And yeah,
Good.
I have.
Good that you lost 10 pounds. Not good that you lost your hair. And it doesn't sound like if you're female and you lose hair, it's not a good combination, right? And I guess there's something about being bald you don't like. Okay.
Not at all.
And you don't like wigs. Okay. So let me give you a couple.
Not really.
Okay, there's really like 3 things to focus on. Either if you're going into keto or intermittent fasting, which you need to be doing both at the same time, and you're nutritionally deficient, you could end up with something like that. So all that means you need either more B vitamins from nutritional yeast, okay, or trace minerals, plant-based trace minerals, or a little protein, which probably is not the situation, your situation, because it's really easy to get protein. So it's usually going to be the trace minerals or the B vitamins. So what you probably would benefit, I have these liquid trace minerals that they don't even taste like anything, but you put those in water, and those more likely or not are going to help you more than anything else, because that's like the hardest to get from your diet is trace minerals. So I have a plant version. You might want to get that and just put like a dropper full in some water each day, because that'll help the hair, the nails, the skin. Your nails will be really, really, really strong as well. That's what I would go for, and that should help you. But also add the nutritional yeast, and I think you should be fine. Thanks for your call. Okay, Adi, I have another question for you.
Okay.
And we do have some more questions, but and here's the last question. All right, what nutritional deficiency will cause an inability to smell and taste?
Wow, okay.
But primarily smell. If you lose your sense of smell, what vitamin are you deficient in? Or what nutrient are you deficient in? Okay, so that's the question.
All right.
All right? Did you like that question?
I did.
Okay, so let me go to Christine from North Carolina. You had a question.
Hi.
Hi.
This actually will kind of go off of Becky's question earlier with the Bulletproof Coffee. I was curious on the effects with breaking the fast as far as the autophagy and human growth hormone, and also if the blood sugar could tell us anything about if we're getting, I mean, I know we can't test insulin at home, so is there any way to kind of figure that out? Because I also did the before my coffee, after my coffee, and my blood sugar did go up, and then it dropped really low about an hour later. So I didn't know if that meant that I was spiking insulin. I'm doing heavy whipping cream and pure in my coffee.
Okay. Are you satisfied with your weight loss, or would you like to speed it up?
It's been good, so I was thinking I might be riding the wave.
Yeah, yeah. So the ultimate, this is a very good question, because the ultimate question is what's happening with insulin, because you want that low, right? But the fact that you're losing weight means that it must be low enough. But you cannot lower insulin if there's too much food or too much sugar in the diet, or the blood sugars are too high. So insulin and blood sugars are related in that if the sugars are high, insulin will spike, okay? But if your insulins are low, typically insulin will not go high. That's usually low. When blood sugars are low, insulin's going to be low. So that's what you need to focus on. So by adding the fat in there, you're consuming the least amount of stimulation to your insulin, but it's still a meal, and it still will affect the blood sugars a little bit. But the fact that you're losing and everything's cool means that you probably can get away with it fine. And a lot of people doing this in their 20s don't even have to worry about it. They can do the keto bombs, they can do the fat, they lose weight, and they can shrink. But I will say, if you get into your 40s, 50s, 60s, then you got to watch these little things like the too much fat, too much this. You have to be a little bit more strict. And the Bulletproof Coffee can knock you out of ketosis a little bit. Okay? But you just have to test it out. Thanks for your call. Okay, what do we have?
All right, so a lot of people are saying zinc and B12.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get the drum roll here. Zinc and B12. And the answer is zinc. Gosh, these guys are smart. I can't even stump them. You're right. If you're zinc deficient, you're not going to be able to smell or taste. So there's actually a zinc test. You can actually consume some zinc in your mouth and hold it in your mouth for like a minute or maybe like 30 seconds. And if you can't taste anything, you're zinc deficient. If you can taste it, because it's going to be very metallic, you don't have a problem with zinc.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we have that test, by the way. I have some zinc that we used to test people. Hey guys, thank you so much for your wonderful questions and Adi's questions as well through social media. Have a wonderful week. I'll be doing more videos this weekend, so check it out. And thank you very much. Have a good one.